Hello, it's Pete Taylor here again. I've got 13 days and counting until sourdough Saturday at the Herring Corn Mill, and as you probably know, I'm still a little worried about my rye starter, which is quite sharp. I'm very happy with my wheat starter, which is very well behaved, but I've got no bread in the bin today, so rather than cutting back and throwing away my starter, I'm going to take some of it and make a sponge to make some bread with tomorrow. So I'm going to make 2 loaves tomorrow, 2 sourdough loaves, 1 wheat, 1 rye and wheat. So I'm going to take both of these starters and take a good portion of it, as the amount that I would have thrown away if I was just cutting back and feeding. I'm going to take that from the starter into some flour, add some water, make a sponge, leave that overnight, and then I'm going to use that to bake with tomorrow. And then with what's left in the pot, I'm going to give it a normal feed, and then as far as that knows, it's being cut back and fed as usual. So those will go back in the fridge when I finish with them tonight. So I'm just going to do exactly that. The wheat, deal with the wheat first, the easy one. There's a little bit of water come off that, but not a lot. So I'm just going to give that a stir up and then put most of it into my mixing bowl to make a sponge with to bake with tomorrow. So in the mixing bowl I've weighed 125 grams of flour, to which I'm going to add 175 grams of water and this starter. So that will be enough to make one loaf tomorrow, and enough to take some starter back, which I'll actually probably throw away tomorrow, I think. So I'll cut that back by about 3/4, a little bit more. So to my 125 grams of white flour, I'm going to add 175 grams that I've already weighed of water, plus that starter to get it going. So by tomorrow morning that'll be a nice basis for a white sourdough loaf. So that's my normal way of preparing sourdough. This is what I'll be doing the day before sourdough Saturday at the Herring Corn Mill. I'll be producing quite large amounts of sponge like this, so that it can sit in the shepherd's hut at the Herring Corn Mill overnight and be ready for us to start baking with tomorrow, exactly the same way as I'm going to bake at home with this tomorrow morning. So that's my starter for tomorrow's sourdough. Wheat ready to go. I shall just put that to one side, and I've got rid of the lumps and deal with what's left of my starter, give it its normal small feed. Right. So with what's left of the starter, I'm going to add 25 grams of flour. Most of it will go in. Go on. 25 grams of flour. Take that bit off the table, waste not, want not. See what it's tasting like, that's good. And 35 grams of water that I've weighed into this beautiful Japanese teacup with a picture of a pear on the side. So that's my wheat starter ready to go back in the fridge, having been cut back and fed, and at the same time having donated some starter to my bread supplies for the rest of the week. So that's wheat dealt with. Once I've got rid of the lumps in this, make sure there's nothing stuck to the side of the pot in the way of loose flour. No lumps really to speak of in there now. So that's very happy. I can leave that now and go on to the rye. Now the rye has got quite a lot of bubbles, even though it's been in the fridge. It's been quite active overnight. Doesn't smell of anything in particular there. A bit like a cup of coffee actually. That seems a lot less violent than it has been. Let's just have a little taste of that. Oh, that's good. It's toned down quite a lot from being in the fridge. It's not nearly as violent as it was yesterday when it's been out for 24 hours. That's great. So, I've mixed it all up. I'm going to take most of it into my mixing bowl for baking with tomorrow. Just a little bit left in the pot, to which I'm going to add 25 grams of flour, 35 grams of water in another beautiful Japanese teacup with a radish on the side. 35 grams there, and I've got 175 grams of water to go in to the mixing bowl to make my starter for tomorrow, my sponge for tomorrow. So I'll get that mixed up now. So I'll have 1 loaf of white wheat sourdough tomorrow and 1 loaf of rye and wheat mixed, because the rye is so strong it doesn't really want to be 100% rye, and also it means if you put some wheat with the rye you give it a chance of rising, and if it's all rye you've got quite a lot of difficulty because it's not got, it might rise but it'll fall right back again, whereas with the wheat addition it's got enough good gluten in there, strong gluten, to be able to rise properly and make a decent loaf. So that's tomorrow's sponge, and this is tonight's starter that's going to go back in the fridge. The nice thing about doing this today is that I haven't got to throw any starter down the drain as I've been doing every day for the last few weeks, which is a very depressing thing to do, I have to say. And also, if you're not careful, you can block your drains up, so I'm having to go right out to the house into the outside drains rather than down the sink. There we are, that's all ready to go back in the fridge, having been cut back and fed. And I'm a lot happier about the way that's shaping up now. So I think my decision to put it in the fridge rather than leaving it in the kitchen has been a good one. So tomorrow I'll show you how I got on with the bread, what the bread looks like when it comes out of the oven. You'll be able to compare the wheat to the rye and wheat, and we'll have another look how the starters are getting on in the fridge. See you then.